Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 181 of Pro NoCoders Office Hours. I'm your host, Tonya. I'm here with members Thomas and Jonathan. Seems to have left, but I'm sure he'll come back. He'll be back soon. We're going to get started in a moment, but first, I want to let you know a little bit about what Pro NoCoders Office Hours is all about. 6 times per week, we have scheduled Zooms where we invite our members on, and they can ask us any bubble question they want. They can ask us bubble questions that they've asked us before. They can ask us bubble questions that are super easy. They can ask us bubble questions that are super hard. We are not picky. Ask us and we will do our best to answer if we can. And of course, if I can't answer the question, or if Juan, who should be joining us shortly, can't answer the question, we have backup. We have Eli and we have Pablo, both able to help us answer questions. So if you would like to come on Pro NoCoders Office Hours and ask your own bubble questions, you need to go to pronocoders.com and sign up for the Office Hours subscription. And that will get you access, like I said, 6 times per week. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And Mondays, we have an extra session at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. So welcome, everyone. Hey, Juan. Welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks. So let's see here. Lachlan and Jonathan are here, and Thomas, you're here. Does anyone have any questions to start us off?
Thomas, you're welcome to start if you have anything.
What's going on in your world, Thomas? Oh, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
All things bubble.
All things bubble?
Almost.
You got anything for us to start?
You were talking about showing us something?
Oh, showing what I was doing with Ben?
Yep.
Sure. So Ben came to us yesterday and asked us for help with, so his version on his app looks a lot better than my version. But essentially the idea was he wants a ton of different social links for his user to like fill in. And then he wants to save each of those to an individual social media profile. And so what I was doing was trying to figure out the best way for us to do that. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, it's not really elegant just to take 20 or 30 different inputs and then make a huge long workflow to make new things out of each of those inputs based on whether they're empty or they have something filled in. So what I did instead was I left the inputs, and I can disable them actually, but I left them there, but then I programmed them to be filled with the initial content of a link that was already entered in this input above and added to a custom state list of texts. And then filter those lists of texts and show all of the ones where the text contains Facebook in the Facebook input, and so forth for Instagram, Twitter, what's this one, TikTok, and YouTube. And so what I have is on the save button here, or if the user clicks enter after entering a text here, what's happening is it's saving to the social links custom state. So we just add it, trimmed in lowercase, and then we reset the relevant input. We set the focus back to that input so they can just enter them rapidly. And then when they're done, and they click this next to button, so I did the next button, this sends them to a recursive workflow in the back end, which is here. And this would just create, this one receives all of the list of texts and goes and loops through and creates a new social thing in the database for each one of those texts, and then schedules itself to run through. So that way it doesn't matter how many of these are actually filled out. It could be 1, it could be all 5, or if he had 30 of them, it could be all 30 of them. clicking the button will just create that number of things. But where I got stuck was in here. I don't just want the link. I also want the type, like what type of social thing it is, because this is what's going to connect it so that I can show the correct icon, the social icon. And so what I was trying to do here was extract with regular expression. But I think what ended up happening, Pablo figured this out. He did find and replace using a regular expression. And then this was the expression that he used. So what this does is it takes the text that I enter, which is a URL, and it strips it down to its root domain. So I can compare it to the type to land on the appropriate type. So let's just see what that looks like. So the first thing is I go facebook.com Pro NoCoders, and you see it fills in the Facebook one. And then I'll do, or not Facebook, we just did that, youtube.com Pro NoCoders, and it fills in the YouTube and so forth. And probably what people will end up doing is they'll just go to their Twitter profile and copy and paste it. And it fills it up no matter which order they do it, it fills them all up. And then when you're done, you just click this next button and you can go to your database. And you can see it's stored the social link with the type that it is. So I thought that was interesting. One of the things Ben asked was, why not maybe we just have the input and then have a drop down next to it to say what type it is? But I actually think it makes more sense for him to use his original interface, because people will feel more inclined to fill all of them up if they're all on the page, as opposed to just clicking a button to see the drop down. I think this is a much easier and motivating interface. So
yeah, this is so smart. Maybe as a kind of, I don't know, in addition to that, now that this is being so cool that it automatically check what kind of social media is, maybe we can display the icon in the UI next to the input. So when the user, when the user just pastes the icon there, sorry, the URL there, if he instantaneously see the social media icon, will be like, oh wow.
Yep, exactly. And we can do that because we
we have already the regex expression. Maybe with the Fafa icons, maybe.
Yep. So let's see. Probably we would want to do this in a
sure.
In a what?
Let me remember. It is let me check fast here.
Well, I don't want you. What are you checking on?
Facebook, isn't it? Is this the font awesome? Is it?
Yeah, let me check something. Oh yeah. So it will be something like this, but with your regex expression. So you need to make it.
Oh no, I have it in the database, right? So I have this social options as a data type, as opposed to an option set. So I have this, and then I'm supposed to also have an icon for it.
Oh, okay, not the. So you will upload a specific icon or an image, not
right,
display it with the Fafa.
Which is what I have in the
okay.
I have here as an attribute the image.
So okay.
So yeah, working on probably we should show the inputs themselves as I don't know if that would work. Like if we had it in a repeating group. Maybe.
That's nice.
Yeah, but that's what we were working on last night. So thought I would share.
Curiously, is Font Awesome natively built into Bubble? So all the icons are accessible through Bubble, or how are you sort of accessing those far things? Is that not Font Awesome? Is that something different?
Wait, I'm not sure the question. Are you asking about which font that we're using?
Actually, the icons. So I think when he was saying Fafa to say Fafa Facebook, it's basically through Font Awesome, it automatically will populate the Facebook icon
Mhm.
without having to upload it into your database. So just wondering if it's natively accessing those through the Bubble app, or is it a plugin we need to add to Bubble, or how is that working?
I'm not
Okay,
sure.
you can add a text. It will not retrieve nothing from your database, or you don't need to have it on your database. You just only need to add a text in your app in the editor. Maybe you can add it, Tonya, please.
Add, what am I adding? Do you
A
want to
text.
take over?
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you send me the link of the app?
Sure. Yeah, you're already here on it.
Oh,
Yeah, because
sure.
I like the Fafa icon, so it'd be a lot easier just to be able to use that text.
I'm gonna send
Okay.
it to you in the chat, friend.
Okay. Okay, you're viewing my screen now?
Yep.
Okay, so you can add here a text and you will type fa and the same, but with this backslash before. So in the middle of them, you will type the name of the Fafa icon. So in this case, it's Facebook, and it will display the icon there. Here, let's say Twitter. Heart, you see?
Yep. And did that require a plugin? I guess is what.
No.
No. Okay.
No. It is
And do you get
only
access to all of their icons or only the free icons?
I think most of them, but not all works.
Okay.
If
No
I'm
problem.
not wrong, let me check Instagram. You need to do this. I mean to.
And I guess we could just cross check on the Font Awesome side anyway of what their shortcodes are and then just put that in between the
Mhm.
Yeah,
brackets.
I was.
Cool.
This is the. Where is the regex?
Yeah, it's in that. It's in the copy one. Is the one that worked. Yeah.
Okay, so it is. Find and replace with regex. Something what I was mentioning was like what if you have something like this? Just to play around. Input, social links, value, find and replace, regex pattern. Not sure if this will work, but I mean to display to the user instantaneously what he is adding. And this can be also with your option set, right? So he will say, "Oh, Twitter," before he clicks save.
Oh, that's cool. I like that
Huh.
idea. I did
Yeah.
not get that from what you were saying, friend.
Yeah, sorry for my English.
No, it was. I don't even think it was your English. I think it was just like a matter of needing to actually.
Yeah, it was like,
it.
okay, this can be something like you paste it and oh wow, Facebook, and you click save. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
But maybe this will have this will need also some logic that if it is nothing to display something else like a custom gear or something.
Or yeah, or
or a
be
globe.
disabled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Lachlan or Jonathan, do you have any questions for this evening?
I had a general question. In the
Sure.
case that you had like a customer portal
Mhm.
that was managed by like another app, say like a management app, is it possible to give like the management app the ability to control branding colors for the customer portal? So like styles? On a per user basis,
On
basically.
a per
So,
u-
so essentially what we'd like to have happen is we'd like to have within our users, we'd like to have them have a company associated to a user. Then
Mhm.
based on the company, we want it to be able to display a custom color theme for that
Mhm.
user. So we've got multiple clients which will have a different business name, and we want to match the portal to have the same branding as their business, because the portal we're creating is going to go to their clients. So we'd like to be able to create an interface that the company of our clients can then go in and set their own colors for particular elements that we define, and then that obviously then is visible to their clients on the as they sign in as a user associated to that company.
Got it. I think Juan is running with it. Is that true? Juan, are you taking this one?
He's
Oh, you're on mute. We can't hear you. Friend. Friend, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
They can't find the Zoom window.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, we can't
I
hear
was trying
you.
to. Okay, yeah. Let me check if this is what you want. So, for example, let's say this is your menu bar. I will put it in the right to don't crash, Tonya's. Let's say this is my company, right? And you will want that, for example, the background is a different color based on the on what the user is. So you can have, it depends on your database, but for example, you can have it inside your user, or if the user belongs to a company, in this case, company, this user belongs to a company. So let's add it it will be better to add it as a global variable inside the company. So maybe that will be like brand, color, hex code. So we will pass here a hex code, and we will store it in the database as a text. So, so for example, let's add it one user. This user have a company? No. And exist companies? No. Let's add it one. So let's add a name for the company. Name here really fast. So we will add Pro NoCoders. And let's say that the hex color is, okay, this will be black, for example. Or dark gray will be this one. No, let's use black. This is, or no, this is a light gray, sorry. Whatever. Yeah. And let's add the company to this user.
And the other question associated to this is, by having custom styles per company, is it going to affect the performance of the app considerably?
Sorry, can you say it again?
He's asking if it's going to affect the performance of the app to have separate styles. And
no, I don't think so.
No, because
it is only retrieving a text field and display this color that was previously there. Inside of a hard code text, you will have current users, company, the brand color. So let's run as this user. And do you see that it is gray now?
Awesome.
And if we run as another user, will be something empty.
Perfect.
And you can have a default, for example, defaulting to. So if it is empty, for example, the user, I don't know, the main user of the company haven't set up a brand color, you can add like a default one that can be, I don't know, let's say this one. So, or your default brand color. So this is the default.
And I'm just wondering, in the case that we have two apps, is it possible to control these settings on a different app?
We'll do that through Xano, John. So we'll be able to have the
I guess we can have them bridge, correct? Yeah.
correct. Yeah. So it'll be a single backend database, which will then, yeah. So they'll be able to interface with the different app from, yeah.
Yeah. Not this was supposed to be gray, right? It's,
I like 333 is my gray. I use.
D3, D3, D3.
okay. Oh yeah, because we are in another this is another user. So yeah, it was working. So if the user haven't set up a brand color, you have this default. But if we run as this other user that already have a brand color, will display the color of the company.
Awesome. No, thanks for that. That's cool.
No
Do you
worries.
use that default function for a lot of different things throughout the application, it seems?
Yeah, I use it, maybe not for all stuff, but it works really nice when the user or maybe your app don't know if the user will have a field there, right? If the user haven't completed the profile or when you have things like that, for example, or when you need to send an API call and some values should be like filled with some parameter if the user haven't filled something, or yeah, when you need a default value, basically.
That's awesome. And we'd obviously then just repeat that for hex code number 2, hex code number 3 to change obviously different buttons and stuff, different colors to create a few different variable colors.
Yeah, and I recommend you, for example, I have played with this kind of option set that I named it like globals, but you can name it, and I saw it from another dev. I don't remember that named it globals. So so this is not like my complete idea, but I took what the main idea was, because I thought that was great. So for example, you can have if it will be like, yeah, for example, you will have different kind of warning color, for example, success color, like light gray color. And I know that you can have styles here, here, but they belong to specific things, like for each, I don't know, for each group, for each text, for each whatever. But sometimes you will notice that also.
Go. We love animals at Pro NoCoders. We are animal people. So I was actually, I have a kitten in here right now? I have a kitten that I'm babysitting today at my office.
I ordered some food, so when the delivery arrives, he becomes crazy. Okay, I was telling you that sometimes you don't have like the proper style, or you are working with a plugin, so you don't have, for example, a plugin with alerts or something asking for a hex color or whatever. Sometimes you want to keep the consistency in your app for colors. This is really useful. So you can, yeah, like instead of that, you will do like get an option, globals, and you will have there like the light gray color display, for example. And you can make it this even more powerful if you have it like this. Give a second, hex color. Here you can have, for example, oh, I like this one. I will name this text, and the attribute will be text, right? And for example, change, save it, copy. For example, every time that you show an alert, for example, you add an action here that is, I don't know, alert. So instead of you do this, change, save it. Let's say that you will have a lot of them in all your app. So I like to, instead of that, use like the change, save it, copy, text. So here you can changes, save it. So anytime that you need to update this, it will be updated in all your app, and you will have the consistency. Or yeah, that kind of things that you can have here. Like for example, I don't know, default meeting time. So you can have here also a field type number. And you will say that default meetings will be always 30 minutes. But if you want to change it later, it will be 10 or whatever. It depends how robust.
But
Sorry?
the option set doesn't really address the wanting different colors for different different
For the
companies and
users, no.
Yeah, because the option sets are hard coded and cannot be changed on the front end dynamically. So
Gotcha.
No, that will be like for the global app. Like sometimes you will want to, yeah.
Yeah, can you show them actually the way we use the website? Well, it's not called website anymore. It's app settings in Canvas. You're in a Canvas app. This is on a.
I'm not currently using Canvas at the moment, but if it's still viable, then.
No. This is just to learn from. Like anything anything that Canvas is doing, almost
Is
pretty much can
replicable
be
in Bubble.
Yeah, exactly. So what I don't like about the app settings data type in Canvas is that it just has too many fields, and because it is loaded in the header every time, it can it can slow down page load.
Gotcha.
But the principle is the same, right? Because you could create different kinds of settings. Like you could say like the app colors as a data type, and you could kind of define them in there. But what is really helpful about it is that anything that's related to like your branding can be referenced in a data type with one thing in the database. In your case, you'd probably be thinking about having different settings for different companies, right? And then referencing that in the company thing. And then that's how Bubble would access all of the different colors and things that you're trying to set per company. So.
Awesome, thank you. I think I've got like enough to go with that. Yep.
Cool. Let's see.
Yeah, so.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Just in addition to Tonya, so similar than we have here that are like the main app settings, all related to your own app, like sidebar and whatever. You can have all of them. This like a lot of them similar than these ones, but here inside the company object, so you can display specifically the sidebar color, the primary color for most of the text, the secondary color, everything for this company. Like obviously the logo, for example, and you can have different logos, right? So you can have like light logo or dark logo, things like that, based on if the user prefers a dark configuration, you can have a yes, no value, things like that.
Awesome.
Oh, something important in addition to that is that most of your data types here should have the company related to them. So for example, you have, I don't know, user should belong to a company, post should belong to, I don't know, for example, for the poster and the recipient, but also the company. So you have another way to filter by this post, to show and have privacy rules based on these posts. So for example, only people from the same organization can view posts, public posts, right? But are public posts, but within the same organization, not for everybody in the world and things like that. So you will make sure that most of your database objects will have the field company type company.
And then are you decided on, because you mentioned using Xano for things. So is that, how much of your database will be in Xano? Will the whole database be in Xano?
Yeah, so I think that to get cross-app functionality, I think having the whole database live in Xano will make the most sense.
Got it. Okay, awesome. That's
So
gonna be fun.
Yeah, user authentication and all sorts of other things as well. So it's
Yeah,
a little bit daunting to get my head around that. And but yeah, looking forward to speaking with Eli and getting his advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
To sort of give you an idea of how our database is going to get populated, we've got 5 softwares with pretty large APIs with sort of 15 different endpoints with potentially 100 pieces of data in each endpoint that we need to pull in and use in our database. So it'll be a nice test capability to see at scale how we can test out Xano's database.
Got it. That's awesome. That's exciting. I'm just finishing up an app now where we were using a Postgres database in AWS and using the SQL connector. And it's like, it's so weird to go into an app as somebody who's worked exclusively in Bubbles database. So weird to go into an app and there's nothing there. So like you're like, how do you find things? Because I don't do SQL. So maybe I will learn someday. But yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah,
it's still a little bit daunting as a new to backend. So I think certainly using a tool such as Xano is certainly helping bridge that gap between all the complexities of it. All the backend server maintenance and setup is just all controlled by the Xano team. So it's really just you have your database interface, you use it, and then no code to access the APIs. So it's if anyone that hasn't explored the no-code backends and you need something a bit more complex, there's a few options out there, but yeah, I think Xano and backendless are the front runners by the looks of it. Yep. And then Eli was very clear with me this morning. He was like, not backendless. I was like, okay, if you say so.
The learning curve seemed quite steep on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think they're building a lot of tools to be front-end facing. So I think they're trying to sort of replicate what Bubble's doing, plus have the back end as well. So good luck to them, I think. I think it's backendless?
Yeah, so backendless have a front-end interface as well, so a front-end builder in their app. So I think a lot of their time spent pushing people towards that now, as opposed to potentially just focus on the back end. So that's where I saw the advantage of Xano. It seemed a little bit easier from a no-code perspective as well. So that was good advice that Eli gave us to say that if you don't want to have ongoing code maintenance required by someone, then Xano's a better option than backendless because it is completely no-code. Yep, exactly. So that's why Juan just asked me, he's like, why not backendless? Well, because if you don't, if you don't want to maintain using backendless right now for the capabilities that you need when you are moving away from Bubbles backend, it's going to require code. But you're going to have to use blocks that require code. And if you don't want to maintain those blocks and you don't want to pay someone to maintain them, then it's better to do Xano instead, because Xano is actually no code. That was Eli's reasoning. So.
Awesome.
Yeah. Any more questions for this evening?
I'm just wondering, with uploading images in the Flexbox editor, how we can maintain margins and the right image proportions if the aspect ratio changes, between like a square image versus like a rectangular image, because I found that a bit tricky in Bubble and I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong.
Gotcha. Juan, do you want to attempt this one, or maybe Thomas could actually?
I don't know. We can do it both. Who
Okay.
wants to share? Or yeah, I'm newbie with this, as most of
I'm
us.
ready for war.
I know
Yeah.
Thomas has been like all in on the responsive editor for a while
Literally
now.
just doing that
Okay,
right
so
now.
let's go with
It's been
Thomas.
amazing.
Yeah, I am loving it. I played around this week with it. And now that I need to work with all the stuff, I am like, oh God, how I convert this without having a lot of issues. Because yeah, if you want to convert it, it will be a nightmare.
Yeah, I was very hesitant to start our new app in this because of like, I wasn't sure of how much of a learning curve was involved, but as soon as after a couple of hours, I was super thankful. I found it really easy, yeah, really handy,
Yeah.
super fast.
Thomas, did you want to take the question, or do you want us to attempt it?
I heard responsive and my ears perked up.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the question is how to maintain aspect ratio with resizing elements in the new responsive editor.
With image uploads in particular, yeah.
So how to maintain the aspect ratio when collapsing an element on an image?
So basically I need like, I'll have a panel on the left of a dashboard and I want to have like a logo for branding. Whereas I can't really control if some logos are square or rectangular. So I'm hoping that like I can add some rules with margins within that element. And then when I upload photos, they essentially get resized and maintain their proportions. Where I'm finding at the moment, when I'm uploading photos through Bubble, it's just basically stretching it to fit all the time.
I would have to see, do you have an example that I can look at so I can see it visually? It would help out in my understanding.
Yeah, sure. Just give me 1 second.
Cool.
So I have done some work on this. I had an app that was very image heavy and did the scope and everything. And I'm just going to chalk this up to my newness to scoping. I made the pictures, the shape, like the aspect ratio that made sense in the page, but the same picture was being shown in multiple different places. And the image sizes were and aspect ratios were different in each of those places. And so the client was frustrated because he'd upload a picture and it looked great in the uploader, but then it would look different everywhere and not great everywhere. And so what we did was we went back and refactored all of the images on the site except for one place so that the images were always the same aspect ratio. And we would maintain that aspect ratio no matter what. And then we also made it so that the user, when they were uploading the picture, would get a viewer of the aspect ratio so they could crop the version they wanted.
Interesting. Okay.
Which is like better than even Facebook and Instagram, if I do say so myself.
I think image aspect ratio as a whole are quite a painful issue when it comes to responsiveness. So
Yeah.
I've been using WordPress. It's just the same thing. It's getting it right is just a pain in the ass.
Yep.
Sorry guys, where do I go again to make it shareable, my editor link? Sorry, to make it editable by the public.
Oh, if you go
Oh,
into
I was
settings,
muted all the time.
you were,
I was telling
yeah.
that I was doing something for you, like to meanwhile you opened yours. Sorry.
So to make yours, you go to settings into general, and up at the top, you can make it public if you want it.
Thank you. Okay. I'll just post it in there now. So you might need like a different image to upload, which you're fine to do, just as an example.
All right.
I'm not sure if you guys see that link.
Yep, I see it.
Yep.
Here we go. I will share my screen.
So you can hide that element, the calendar element.
Okay.
It's actually behind that.
Hmm.
And the group above it. Yep.
There we go. Okay.
Cool. But yeah, if you see that logo there that says McGrath,
Mhm.
essentially I need whatever the change in icon to be to basically maintain those margins, and then also, if possible, make the image fit, if that makes sense, to the best of its ability. Whereas at the moment, if I upload anything through there, it just sort of stretches it.
It
And
makes it weird.
Yeah.
That just isn't that kind of where you were telling me earlier, Tonya, where you kind of give them a hint of what aspect ratio they should
Mhm.
add?
Yeah. So like in Canvas, we tell them the exact dimensions that we're looking for the logo, like which dimensions work best.
So we do need to define that on a client level a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't really turn a rectangle image square without cropping it. It doesn't work unless you want to completely
Or
destroy how it looks.
more so that if it was square, it would sort of stretch out vertically a little bit.
Mhm.
Um,
I
basically
mean,
take,
there's
yeah.
a way in images where you can, like, you can play around with those settings. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, we're the new responsive, keep element aspect ratio fixed.
Yeah, I tried toggling that and it didn't seem to work. I mean, you're welcome to try it now, but yeah, I was
Yeah,
hoping that
I believe.
regardless of the image, it would just resize it for, oh, okay, that's interesting. If we were to upload any other image, I wonder what would happen now. But that's essentially what I want it to do, just with different images.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we need to control the logo. Yeah.
So I think this is keeping the element aspect ratio fixed. So this is adjusting the element to the content. So this looks right? So it made it smaller because the image there is smaller. So I'm assuming if I were to say upload a different image, let's see here, I have a logo. Let's see. That's an SVG. Ping, probably. So looks a little smushed actually. So I wonder if I go in the layout here and I say, yeah, that looks like what it was
Wow,
supposed to be.
Can we, now that that's ticked, can we try uploading just one more image? Because I've gone through this. I'm not sure why it's.
Sure, you can take over. You can do it. If you want.
Sure. So if I do this, is it going to change real time for you?
Yep, it will.
Awesome. Haven't really worked with two people in one app much.
It's fun actually. I like it. Testing is not fun with two people on the same version, but working is fine.
All right. I'll see if I can just upload something square. Yeah. That's a PNG image. If that, I don't know if that's making a difference in that case.
No, probably not. So can flip this.
But that's, very wrong there. Yep.
Yep. So then let's go here and see. What is it gonna do? No, that's not what we want. It doesn't have any. Yeah, this is, I think, one of those things where if I still have access to it. Let me see.
I mean, the dimensions on there are square-ish, so it seems like it'd be
Correct.
hard
Yeah.
to get collapse.
I did a test here. Meanwhile, I can share it. I'm not sure if it is this because I am learning to this new responsive engine.
Yep, hang on just a second. So this is what I built for the client that I was talking about. So I'm gonna upload this image here and it's gonna show me what it will look like in the aspect ratio. But then if I click here, this picture happens to be the same aspect ratio as what I'm doing. So I can show the whole thing, but I can also zoom in on the face, keeping that same. It won't let me leave the 1-to-1 aspect ratio, right?
Awesome.
So no matter what I do, it'll be there and then I can save that.
I've never seen this before. Is this like a plugin for Bubble or?
Yep, it's called Croppy Extended.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, and then like you can give them very like you save the cropped version to use everywhere, right?
Yep.
So that way it gives them like a much higher level of control over what is being shown in the pictures.
And just an understanding of the limitations. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome.
So curiously, using this as an image uploader, I wanted to order 10 photos in a particular order. Is this, can you upload them all and it gives you an interface to sort them, or is it just designed to just
We
crop
did
one
actually,
image?
yeah, we did actually have that functionality in this app. So I can go back and see if I still have access to it.
Because sorting of photos is a tricky one for us, is we need to be able to also potentially just add a comment to that photo, so if we could add like a caption to it, would be.
Yep. So I think that in that case, probably it's interesting. I know it's probably not the right time for you because it's probably the middle of the night.
No, it's just lunchtime.
Middle of the day.
No. Like during my daytime office hours that I have, and I have a member in the UK who comes to those, and it's his evening. And he's been doing a lot with like images and uploading in the order of the images and getting the image file type and all of that stuff and reordering images. But I can also ask the dev that implemented this prototype in that app that I keep talking about, because we did have it drag and drop. But at that point, you're talking about creating different image things in the database, right? So like if you want to have a photo with a caption, you wouldn't just store the image in a list of image files. You would have an image thing in the database, and this would be the image, and then you would have a caption, and then you'd probably have an owner and probably a post that it belonged to, right? And that's how you can determine, and you could even have an order like of type number. You could have a field order on it, right?
Gotcha.
So
That's 100% right. So it'd be under a property, which is living against a company, but yeah. And then we'd have ordered photos 1 to 20.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yep. What were you going to show, Juan? And you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I was playing around with that and I added this image here. And what I wanted is if the page is 1200, be at this size, but if it is smaller, so it becomes smaller too. So do you see? But it keeps the aspect ratio, right? This always 1-to-1, but I didn't check the. Oh no, yeah, I checked this, but I played with this.
Okay.
Hmm.
So just make sure, obviously, we have a lot of headroom for the minimum and maximum width. Yeah.
Hmm.
All worth trying. Yeah. And you've also
Yeah.
got a static aspect ratio of just like 1 to
Mhm.
1. Yeah. See, that's the difficult thing is like when that changes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe you should store maybe. But I'm not sure if this is dynamic. No, this cannot be handled dynamic because maybe
Yeah.
when you upload the image, if you retrieve, there are some plugins that you can, for example, when you upload to Amazon S3, the one from Zero Code, if I'm not wrong, you can retrieve or modify the aspect ratio. So, but yeah, this seems to don't be dynamic here. Yeah, that makes things more complicated.
But what the maintaining the element aspect ratio fixed, I think means when you are resizing, it won't change, right?
Hmm.
And then if you like, with the controllable thing is when you're uploading it, make sure to save it in that aspect ratio, right?
Hmm.
So make sure that the image is cropped to that aspect ratio, and then Bubble will maintain that aspect ratio as the page is resized.
Just as a query, when we had the square image placed on the top of the header before, we had the maximum width of 200. And did it not extend down height-wise because the element itself was too small? Because I found it didn't maintain the aspect ratio. It was supposed to be a lot more square. It sort of squished it to fix
Well,
the
no,
element.
I think what's happening when that on that click is here. I'll share my screen. So it's if I am in, where do I want to be? So many sandboxes.
Man, of tabs I haven't opened, it would scare you.
Apparently I like to bubble. Apparently I like to bubble a lot. Which page were you on in here? Juan?
Index. Oh no, sorry.
I was in type please new responsive, new underscore, no, in the left. Oh yeah, yes, image,
Okay.
this one.
Cool.
Hmm.
So when I have this unchecked, first of all, it does that, which is crazy. But secondly, when I preview it on the page, it's not maintaining the aspect ratio, right? Because that's changing right there, right? Whereas if I do click maintain element aspect ratio, then I preview. I go small.
So would the same work then for the owners, the other
See how
tab you have open?
it's changing sizes, but it's not changing aspect ratio.
Yeah, I just thought on the other tab you had open, the owners portal, that didn't seem to maintain the correct aspect ratio. It seems to.
But it's the element aspect ratio that it's maintaining, not the pictures aspect ratio. So it's maintaining the elements aspect ratio. So it's still stretching the image to fit the element.
So we can't make
Gotcha.
the aspect ratio dynamic is what we're saying.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So we need to control that with what's uploaded. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep, all good.
Yep.
So responsiveness is annoying as ever.
Responsiveness is a whole thing.
Yeah.
But imagine like 20 years ago, nobody was thinking about mobile responsiveness because we weren't really thinking about looking at websites on our phones yet. So
That's it.
yeah. Now we get to carry the web in our pockets. It's kind of cool.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, we are going to wrap up the office hours portion of this evening and move into after hours, which is members only. If you would like to join us for the members only section, you have to be a member, which means you need to go to pronocoders.com and sign up for your office hours subscription today. Thank you everybody for watching. We will be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for episode number 182 of Pro NoCoders Office Hours. I will see you then.